I mean, how did you really start rapping and start really taking it seriously?
I started rapping in high school, somewhere around 93, 94, somewhere around there. I wasn't really that serious about it. I mean, always when I was coming up, I take a Redman record, I take a Razzcast record, E40, bring the yellow tape, and I always prided myself on being able to spit that shit like exactly like they did. I didn't start actually writing my own raps until about 94. And I was that kid in school who never let nobody hear his raps. Like when everybody was ciphering in the hallway, like I never get in the ciphers.
You know, like a lot of people have like different rap names until they finally, figure out the one they're gonna stick with. Like, well, what were some of your early rap names?
I had one. My only rap name, and I don't think I ever told anybody this. So Vlad, for the first time in this whole long roller coaster of a career that I've had, I'm gonna unleash this. And I don't want nobody on fucking Twitter or nobody else to crack no jokes on me. My name,
Okay.
my name was R Dog.
How long did R Dog stick around before Royce came in the picture?
Not even a year, bro. Not even a year. That shit didn't even last a year. Like I got a me and one of my friends like in high school, one of the dudes I used to rap with and shit. Like I got this Turkish link chain and the emblem was a R. It was like a big ass R. So people started saying that it looked like the Rolls Royce emblem. So he was clowning me saying that. So he started calling me Royce and I started calling him Rolls. So we formed a little group together. We was called Rolls and Royce. That lasted for a minute, but the whole people calling me Royce and that being an alias, people was calling me that in high school before they even knew that I rap. So we used to hang. We had like a big ass crew in high school. We was like, and people thought we was a gang. So people used to call my crib asking for Royce, and my daddy used to hang up on him because he thought the police told him that this was some type of gang name. So that he wouldn't let people call me Royce. It was like a big thing. So Royce was like an alias of mine before people even knew I rap.
Sure. Now the 5'9", I assume, is your height, right?
Yeah, the 5'9" was my height. It came from another rap partner of mine. We called each other 5'9" because we was the only two niggas on the roster, on the basketball roster that was 5'9". So we called each other the 5'9". So to decide to come up with a name, before I had the wherewithal to try and come up with a cool name, I was already signed. I got into the game super early, so it was already too late. It's too late, man. Royce the 5'9". People gonna have to fucking live with it.
At what point did you meet Eminem?
I met Marshall. I don't remember what year. Damn, I do remember what year. What am I talking about? I met him in '97. I met him in '97 at an Usher concert. Usher came and was doing like a 800 people venue. He was young then, and Marshall was at the venue selling. He had the Slim Shady EP, local EP that he had. He was selling it locally on the cassette tape. He had a little booth set up, and he heard me rhyming on stage. I was rhyming in front of a bunch of little girls, and I kicked the acapella. I never forget. I was performing with a bulletproof vest on. I took the vest off. I'm standing there shirtless in front of a bunch of little screaming girls, and I kicked the acapella. And the line that I said that caught Marshall's attention was, I'm iller than standing in front of a gorilla holding a banana. That was the line. For some reason, that line was crazy at that time. I don't know if it was the way that I said it. I guess in retrospect, I'm thinking about it now, it was pretty terrible. But at that time, I'm iller than standing in front of a gorilla holding a banana. That was like the first thing that Marshall said when we met. Like, yo, you just said I'm iller. And we connected from there. You know, we started like talking on the phone and talked about making music and just figured out that we had a lot in common. So, you know, when he signed his deal and Dre wanted to use that song that we made, because we recorded Bad Meets Evil like almost as soon as we met each other. But when he got with Dre and he played him some more of the songs that he had, that was one of the songs that he wanted to keep for his album. So I had to go out to LA to recut the vocals. You know, obviously they redid the beat, and then, you know, we went to recut the vocals to make it sound cleaner. And once I got out there to L.A. with him, it was like I just stayed out there. I stayed out there. Dre liked me. He wanted me to help write on the Chronic album, and I just kind of stayed out there and built a relationship with him, and the rest is pretty much history.
I mean, I remember I bought the Slim Shady EP. I got it off like Sandbox Automatic. I don't know if you remember that site.
Nah, I don't remember that site.
Yeah, they used to sell like vinyl and independent albums and stuff. There's like Hip Hop Site, Sandbox Automatic, like, you know, there's all these little websites where you could buy shit that really wasn't available in stores. Now, I remember hearing, you know, the Slim Shady EP, and I was just like, yo, this dude is just incredible. Like, it was just so far ahead of what everyone else was doing at the time. And at that time, like, Eminem was going through like the whole indie circuit. He was doing all the Raucous records and just a bunch of different indie records.
Right.
And that was way before. I mean, not way before Dre signed him, but it was before Dre signed him. Like, what were you guys doing during that whole time?
I don't think I was running around with Marshall like that back then. It seems like I met him, and my memory is terrible. Like, I'm an alcoholic, so my memory is fucking terrible. But I met him. I remember meeting him on that day because my son was born that same night. So that's why I never forget that day. But I met him. We recorded the song, and it seems like shit. Right after that, Paul was calling me like, your boy Dre is looking at your boy. He's about to sign him. You know, so I never was with him in none of the battles that he did abroad. Like when he went and battled Juice and all of those people, like the Scribble Jam and all of that, I wasn't with him for none of that. Like I became his hype man for his shows, like after he was already signed with Dre.
I remember going to an Eminem show. You probably were the hype man. It was in San Francisco. Like, I don't know what happened. Someone said something in the audience or whatever, and then was like, "What?" And he just jumped in the audience at that dude.
Yeah, that sounded about right.
Was there a lot of shit like that?
Yeah, like his temper, a real short fuse, man. Real short fuse, but he was carrying around a lot too. He's carrying around a lot, man. I can imagine it must have been pretty hard to be that good. And then, you know, be a white kid in a, you know, that's a part of a predominantly black culture, and people kind of hold that against you because, you know, if you think about it, it's a very prejudiced genre. You know what I'm saying? Like it's everything is based off of opinion and preference, you know, so it started out like, okay, he dope, but he just dope. He's dope for a white boy, you know, or he's whack. They don't want to hear what he got to say because he doesn't look how we feel rappers should look. You know, we've been a part of this, and we've saw that these barriers get broken down because of guys like him, because of guys like Kanye. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are starting to have limits now. So he came up in a time where it was real hard, man. Like, it was like a lot against him. And, you know, he a real dude. So it's just like, you know, like it didn't take nothing for him to go upside your head. Like, I seen him do that to people. Like, that was nothing. It was nothing to jump out into the crowd and get into a fight. Like, that was just another night at the office.
At one point, like you were like Eminem's like main like rhyme partner. And then you guys had some sort of falling out.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of things. It was a lot of things that played a part with that. You know, we came up at a time in Detroit where it was very, very competitive. Very, very competitive. You know, like hearing that somebody got a deal, $1 million deal or anything like that, that was like news in the hood, you know, and it was kind of like a scramble for everybody to try to get there first. You know, so it ended up being a lot of differences of opinion. And the main thing that I can touch on that I could remember is just the communication being terrible. So like everybody in D12, all of those guys, I never got a real opportunity to meet them under the right circumstances. And vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So Marshall got put in a situation where he was caught in between being a mediator and something that he shouldn't have been in the middle of. You know, so that's all I really can say about that. You know, you got a bunch of young guys, competitive, passionate about what they do, and not seeing eye to eye, hearing this person said that, this person said that, kind of playing into some of the he say she say, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and it got to a point where it got so immature nobody wanted to deal with it. Everybody just kind of threw their hands up, and the situation was just what it was. And in turn, me and Marshall lost a lot of time. We lost a lot of time with with dealing with each other. I think he got to the point where he just didn't want to deal with it no more. Because I can't speak for anybody, any of those guys, but when it comes to myself, there were certainly things that I could have handled a little bit more maturely at that time.
Sure.
So
Now, I mean, I remember watching the Beef DVD, and at one point, it seemed like things were getting really bad. Like I remember there was a scene where you're rolling around, I think, in the back of an SUV, and you got a pistol, and I think you were wearing a vest. I mean, was it really that bad at that time?
it was bad, man. I mean, I don't think a lot of these dudes realize how important that their words are. I don't think people in general realize how important that their words are. When you're an artist, man, like your words are weapons. It got very bad, and I'm just glad that everybody made it out alive and everybody matured from it. And it just is what it is. You'll never see me in that position again. You'll never see me on TV glorifying something like that and waving guns around and looking like a fool. You'll never see Royce the 5'9" looking like that again.